Well, hello, my name's Mandy and my channel is Mandy Sorts It Out, and today I'm sorting out my spending, I'm looking at my budgets, and I'm reviewing how the week from 1st to the 7th of October went. And I've made a few changes, so I'm explaining those for longer term viewers who are familiar with what I do. I've made a slight change to my overall budget, which I shall post up here, only in that the additional water expenses that I'm expecting to have in about 6 months' time, I have included them with the miscellaneous expenses. So you won't see them split out separately in the budget this time. Right, let's look at the spending from the 1st to the 7th of October. I spent a lot of money this week. I've spent £788.16. This wasn't really what I planned to spend, but let's go through it. But we'll look at income first. My rent from the property I rent out overseas has come in. That's £1,553.70. I've also had 3 sales on Vinted. I've come to the conclusion that the best way to get sales on Vinted is to say on social media, I don't think I'm going to get many more sales on Vinted. The total that I got in was £4.50. So that equates to £1,558.20 in income this week. And my spending. For my food, I did 3 food shops, 1 at Tesco, 2 at Asda. If you want to see what I bought, the Tesco shop and the first Asda shop are shown on my previous video, and I will show you the second Asda shop after we've gone through the figures. At Tesco, I spent £22.69. At Asda, I spent £15.38. And then on the second Asda shop, £6 and twopence. That comes to a total of £44.09. Did I spend too much? Yes, I did. I'm just not really sure what on. Other than 2 packs of marshmallows, which I did not need, and I certainly did not need to eat, but I ate them both. I can't really pinpoint something that I bought and I shouldn't have bought. But let's move to incidentals. I spent £5.30 on at Tesco. That was on the notebook I bought that I'm planning to write in daily. Again, that's covered in my previous video. Then I spent £2 on 2 items, my lens cleaning wipes and the pack of hooks that I bought to go with the command strips to hang up a picture in my bedroom. I also bought this shopping bag, which is in addition to this folding shopping bag that I already had. Why did I buy a different one? Well, sometimes I need to use a stick when I walk. I've got osteoarthritis in my knees, and I have a folding stick that if I'm thinking I could possibly manage without a stick, but I probably need to take it with me for some security, I put the stick in my bag. It's a folding stick, so it does fit in there, but it doesn't fit in there with this bag. What else did I buy? Oh, I had to spend £14.75 on printing to print out all the pension documents that I received from my pension providers overseas. Then I also spent another £1 at the library. That was on a book I'd reserved. Then I spent £5 on 2 gifts for my children. And I spent £2 on a cooling rack for the kitchen. And I spent £4.98 on an extension lead. I spent £695 on my rent, so my housing. I gave a donation of 25p to 2 breast cancer charities. That was a suggestion at checkout, even if it's not a great deal of support. Hopefully it all helps build up to a large lump sum. Then I spent £10.50 against my travel budget to visit my son overseas, because I spent £6.50 on a quilt so that I can use that when I'm there, and I spent £4 on a gift to give to the person I'm staying with because they put me up. I've spent £3.54 on toiletries and cleaning, £2.29 was on toilet paper, and £1.25 was on the sweets. Then I spent £6.14 on a new top from Vinted. I'm hoping to show it to you, but it's in the wash at the moment. So that comes to £788.16. And now let's look at my spending over the month on the monthly budgets. I've got 5 budgets that I look at on a monthly basis. The other budgets I look at on an annual basis. The 5 budgets I look at monthly are food, petrol, phone, incidentals, toiletries and cleaning. And I give myself a budget of £221 for those expenses. As you can see, I've spent £80.66 already of that budget, which is a lot. That's more than a quarter of £221. But I've still got £140.34 to spend. Things I've been waiting to buy because during August and September, when I was driving down to family, I didn't really have any spare funds because I knew I was spending a lot on petrol. So this month I felt like I suddenly had spare money. So I bought some of these things that I'd been thinking about buying for a while. So hopefully the next few weeks will be a lot lighter in spending. We shall see. Now let's look at my spending in the budget as a whole. So for the budget from 1st of May 2025 to 30th of April 2025, I've had income over that period of £8,913.94, and I've spent over that period £7,484.43. And that means that I've got £1,429.51 still in my sinking fund. Actually, that's the healthiest it's been. That money is going towards all the remaining expenses. So that's my budget. Now, I did a little video on my shop to Asda, the second shop on the 6th of October, but I did it slightly differently in that before I went to Asda, I ran through with you what was on my shopping list. I need to have some accountability about this. So that's what we're going to do going forward. Thank you for watching. If you're only watching up to this point, the shop comes after. So I'm heading to Asda. I have on my shopping list an extension lead, bread, some more of that lovely squash that I bought last time. I'm going to have a look at the reduced items. I could do with a small rack so that I can defrost foods a bit quicker, because I always think if there's airflow underneath, things defrost a lot quicker. I've got a voucher for some Always pads and panty liners, and I'm going to follow Sharon's example from Living on a Low Income UK and just have some in the house for guests. And I've lemon juice because in the winter time, even though I'm supposed to avoid citrus fruits, I do like some honey and lemon if I've got a sore throat or just feeling a bit sniffly. Okay, so I have done a little shop at Asda, which I probably shouldn't have done till next week, but I mean, does it really matter? It just makes this week's shopping look a little bit worse. Anyway, I went with the shopping list. This was my shopping list. And did I buy everything of it? Yes, I bought everything, I think. So I've got the extension lead, that was £4.98. I've got the bread, 55p. I've got the squash, that was £1.30. Yep. And that's just a replacement because this one is running out. That's been very, very nice for Diet Lemonade. The marshmallows showed up as £1 on the shelf. And I've just seen I paid £1.23. Because when I bought them, I thought, well, that's strange. They weren't £1 last week. Lemon juice, 80p. I had this come through the door with 2 coupons in it, one for panty liners and one for these pads. I didn't realise they were for bladders, but I thought I'll get them in, put them in the cupboard, and then if somebody visits who needs anything like that, they're there. The blue ribboned were in the reduced section. Let me see if they've put the reduction through. Yes, 97p. To be honest, I don't think blue ribbon are much more than 97p normally. However, the salt, as you can see, is green. It is a low salt product. So I got 2 packs. And I bought the cooling rack for £2 because when I'm bringing out frozen dinners, this is what I do. I put them on the toast rack. There isn't room for 2 things on the toast rack, so I had to put these on the knobs of my cooker, and I'm a bit worried about all the water dripping in the cooker. I looked into the reduced items. There was nothing there that I could have. So yeah, I got everything off the shopping list. I also bought 3 gifts, and I'm not putting them on. I'm not showing you what they were because I do not know if the people to whom they're intended to get to watch my videos. They know I've got a channel, so they possibly might be. So I'm not going to show what I bought. One of the gifts is a gift for the friend who's putting me up when I go overseas to visit my son. The other 2 gifts are for each of my children. They're just a little something. The gifts cost me £9. The shopping total cost £22. Forgot to say that when I was recording. I'm really annoyed about those sweets. £1.23 instead of the pound that was showing on the shelf. Other than that, I will just say, I think I feel a bit as if the pressure has lifted because of when I was travelling down in August and September to family all the time, and there was all that additional petrol costs, and there was also additional grocery costs because there was times I was buying things for the kids. So it was a little bit more expensive when I was doing that. And I feel now that that pressure's off. I think I feel a bit like I've got loads of money and I can just spend on what I want. And I need to rein that in because it isn't the case. I still have £221 to spend on my general monthly spending, and I need to watch that. The gifts for my kids, I don't buy things from very often. I don't regret anything I bought. I don't think I bought anything that was completely unnecessary. I mean, obviously it's a luxury to be able to buy my kids a little gift, but I do like to treat them in little ways now and then. And I'm going to continue if I can afford it. So, although it feels a bit spendy, especially as this is the 3rd shop in a week, and I wouldn't normally do 3 in a week, I wouldn't normally do 2 in a week. And I've got a friend coming to visit a week today, and that will be a little bit spendy as well because we're planning to do a few things, and I'll be buying food in for her while she's here. And I'll be putting petrol in the car because I'll be driving to Birmingham to pick her up from the coach, and I'll be driving her to Coventry, and I'll be driving her to Leicester. Yeah, that'll be a bit of a spendy visit. I'm not sure I'll hit my 221 target this month, but we will see because I do have a visit budget, so we will see. Thank you for watching this video and getting to the end. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!